everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Free at the Back podcast. This is episode 29, and this will be our Game Week 25 preview, talking about all good things from Game Week 24 and how we're setting up for 25 and beyond. I'm with my good pal Scott. Darren is having another sabbatical, so I'm sure he'll be back from injury soon. But yeah, two up top again. How you doing, Scott?
I'm good, my man. Yeah, life's good. FPL came back to a bit of positivity last week with a wild card. Yeah, all good. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Can't complain from an FPL sense.
Well,
Another green arrow moving in the right direction.
Yeah, you had a good time of it so far, haven't you?
So far, so good. Yeah, good 10 weeks or so, I think.
Well, you're top of our mini league now, which means you're the target. So we'll see what the pressure does to you.
We'll see how long that. It might be a 1 week foray at the top of the league, but I'll enjoy it while it lasts.
That's it. Take a picture of it.
Being an Arsenal fan, I'm used to enjoying it while it lasts. It's the ride. It's the ride.
That's it. It's the ride.
Oh, all right. Well, let's go into the top 5 from Game Week 24 and have a little chat about everything from this week.
Good week for Arsenal talking about them. Good week in the title race. You winning, the other contenders dropping points, so you must be pretty happy with that.
I can't complain. No, I can't complain for sure. So, top 5. I don't know whether you've noticed it, but I've been paying attention to the game of the week teams for the last 3 to 4 weeks, and it seems like low-owned players are really seem to be making a difference. You know, that 0 to 2% are getting hauls every other week. But as always, it's pretty difficult to call who's that going to be.
Well, I guess it's why they're lonely owned, isn't it? Very sort of sporadic. Players you can't necessarily call. Although one of them in the team of the week, we nailed last week when Darren was looking at his Kobe Mainu pick, and we suggested Casemiro as a lowly owned punt. Come good. He enters the team. I hope Darren is watching this back. Give us a bit of kudos. I always keep track on the team of the week and see who's in and out, especially the top point scorer, because it usually means that they don't repeat that for a while. Yeah. So this week I think it was Madueke got top point scorer this week.
Madueke and Diarra from Sunderland. They've got 14. And that was Diarra's and Madueke's first goal contributions in the Premier League for their clubs.
Well, I mean, so Saka has been a talking point for many managers for a number of weeks now. Should you just keep him, get rid of him? Arsenal double game week on the horizon. He's in the team sheet and he pulls up in the warm-up, which is mad, isn't it? Madueke's then drafted in and delivers. You know, not saying that Saka wouldn't have delivered, but you know, he could well have got the same return as Madueke did. Yeah, no one owns him. He's only 0.7% owned in the game, Madueke. You know, but this could be a prelude, maybe. And we'll get into a bit of Arsenal Saka replacement later, but you know, a like-for-like replacement in the Arsenal team is Madueke. So, you know, what do you reckon? Is he due a run now?
I almost think he's certainly due a run in the team now. And obviously, if Arsenal do go through in the cup tonight and get that double game week, then they will fly up those fixture rankings. And yeah, he could be very sought after.
Just to let everyone know, we are actually recording this. We started this at the half time of the Arsenal-Chelsea second leg EFL Cup semi-final. Very important, not only to that competition and to Arsenal or Chelsea getting to the final, but also a knock-on effect to our double game week 26 teams. If everyone is well aware, we'll go through it again if people aren't aware, is the final lands in game week 31. So that game week for the finalists becomes a blank. And then the Arsenal or Chelsea, whoever gets, will be moved forward to game week 26 and double with their respective opposition. So for Arsenal, it'll be against Wolves. I think Arsenal's double, is it Brentford and Wolves?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and Wolves would be Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. Yeah,
good.
And then if it's Chelsea, they double with Everton and somebody else.
Yeah, I should have wrote them down.
So yeah, but as it stands, it's still 3-2 on aggregate, 0-0 at half time. Pretty non-eventful first half. Both teams sort of checking each other out. Second half will probably be a bit more, because Chelsea have to go for it for the win. Be interesting. Very interesting to see. Did you notice what they were doing from corners, Chelsea, in that first half?
Yeah, it's a good tactic to have less threats in the box. They obviously move players up to the halfway line to make sure that Arsenal had more defensive cover. So yeah it's very
interesting.
Good.
Maybe that's the blueprint of how you combat the Arsenal corner threat.
We'll see. 45 minutes to go, see if they can survive the corners. I guess it'd be worth moving straight on to Chelsea. So Enzo, we talked about him a lot last week with obviously their great run of fixtures and a lot of people wildcarding, and he paid dividends. An interesting fact for you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first time in Premier League history that Chelsea have overturned a 2-0 deficit at half-time.
Wow. Good stats.
So yeah, it was again probably very similar to, I guess, the Man City and Spurs game that we'll get onto shortly, but it was pretty much a tale of two halves.
Mm.
It's almost a completely different team come out in the second half for Chelsea.
Well, as you're well aware, Rosenior started João Pedro, Cucurella on the bench. Obviously 2-0 down at half-time. He brings them on, but I think shows the importance of Pedro to the team. He's definitely their number one striker. Yeah, so when they're in trouble, they call him. We had a quick discussion before game week 24, and I said to him I was quite doubtful that he would start the game. And some fool went on captained him. He comes off the bench, grabs a goal, grabs an assist. Lovely 10 points. I mean, not to say you got lucky there, but you got pretty lucky there.
He who dares wins, Rodders.
He who dares. But it just highlighted the importance of João Pedro. I think going forward now, I think you can be assured of his minutes, his starts. I think that showed Rosenior how important he is to that starting 11. And without, Chelsea do sort of struggle. West Ham and Everton showing signs of improvement. They have picked up results and dragging the likes of Leeds and Forest closer to them in that relegation scrap. But to give up 3 goals in the second half is pretty poor. Showed massive frailties as they have done all season. And I think they can't turn it around. I'm hopeful they can't turn it around because they're dragging us into it as well. But their new signings have made a difference. The new lad up front, is it Tati?
Yeah.
Costelinas up front. And Pedro?
Yes.
Yeah.
Another Pedro to the league. Yep. Yeah.
Playing in the 10. Yeah, they're knitting them together, and Somerville's coming to a bit of run of form as well. So, who knows? The running for the relegation space, I think, is only for one place now. I think Burnley and Wolves are pretty much signed off. So, there's probably 4 teams for one place. So, interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be to the wire, I think, based on the up and down form of the league so far this season. It's you can't pick a result week to week at the moment. It seems it's quite unpredictable, which I think what some people may say is boring. I think makes the league
brilliant
to watch, to be honest. And
what did you think when you saw the Chelsea lineup and Pedro was benched?
I was obviously annoyed, especially because I'd vice captain Saka.
Well, I was going to say the double whammy there would be yeah.
So I was pretty sick, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, obviously I was feeling confident. West Ham being, I think was it 2-0 at halftime? Yeah, it was. Yeah, 2-0 at halftime. That he would probably appear. So thankfully he did, and thankfully come good.
And he's hit some form, isn't he, Pedro? He looks the real deal at the minute.
Yeah. I think he's been given a bit more license to roam, a bit more freedom, and I think that's really gets the best out of him. He's not one of these players that can be playing a rigid system. So I think the fact that he's been given that license, and I think Enzo's doing a great job of backing him up and giving him that support that. It seems to be working currently.
Absolutely. Is he a part of have you got 3 Chelsea, or you only doubled up on Chelsea?
Currently, yeah, I've only got the 2. I've got Enzo and Pedro.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they're probably the top two, aren't they, to own. Any thoughts on Palmer?
I just think he's too risky with the price, but he will get minutes eventually because he's too good and he adds too much quality to that Chelsea team. But yeah, for now, I think because they've got a rhythm, I don't see him guaranteed starts. So I think, yeah, it could be a risk.
Because he's not in tonight's starting lineup, is he? Which probably means he starts at the weekend.
That might be a good thing for the weekend, like you say.
Yeah, but with fixtures coming thick and fast, I guess you can't rely on someone like that who's not guaranteed to play every game.
Not for that price tag, especially if he was, a 5.5 midfielder like he was back in the day.
Sure.
Then it would maybe be worth a punt. But yeah, there's so many amazing options in midfield with all these fixture runs that, yeah, it's hard to go for him, to be honest. Speaking of midfielders on form, Bruno Fernandes, 2 assists.
Yeah.
Man United of old creeping in defensively at the weekend, but again, still kept on ticking and still kept on going, and Cunha coming good as well from an attacking point of view. But yeah, Fernandes, he feels like a must own at the moment, especially with the form they're in.
Yep.
He's definitely on my hit list for sure, especially with Saka's injury, which I'm sure we'll discuss when we get to my team this week. But yeah, he's equaled his best ever season for assists in the Premier League already.
Yeah.
With 12. So yeah, he's in incredible form. That's 7 assists in 7 games now for him. So yeah, I can't look past him, to be honest. If you've got the budget, I definitely would be getting him in your team if you haven't already.
Well, I say if you got Saka, and news broke earlier today that Saka's injury isn't particularly serious, but he's going to miss maybe 2-3 games.
Yeah.
If you're on a Saka, then that's a very easy switch to Bruno. Yeah, I mean, do you remember saying to me about 6 weeks ago? I said to you, Bruno's going to be the man. And you went, I can't see it. I just can't see it. Well,
I don't think I can be lambasted for not seeing Man United finding this particular form.
It's just Bruno himself, isn't it? He's just so many routes to points.
And again, it's surprising when you put a top quality player in their rightful position and they suddenly look the world class player that they are. So yeah, he's not having to do all the defensive work, and he can focus on getting the assists.
Well, what I love about Bruno is that I looked at the BPS scores earlier, and it only takes one return from him, whether it be an assist or even DEFCONs. He's so involved in the game and the actions and the passing and the threat that he causes. He's actually on 571 BPS this season, which is second only to Haaland. So basically what that means is that he's up there on the metrics, like all the scores behind the big points, ticking over accurate passing and chances created and yards covered and things like that. So it only takes one attacking return and he's in on the bonus. So if you captain him, he may not do a great deal in terms of returns, but he's always going to tick over, always going to get you points. And I think, a massive haul from him is not far off. I can see him getting a goal and assist in the game with DEFCONs and 3 bonus points. And if you've captained him, you're laughing. I think he's going to make a mockery of that 9.6 price that he is now. He's gone up quite a lot. He's having two bumps per week. So I'd get on him pretty quick if I were you, because you're going to lose value. Saka's going to be going the other way.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate the advice. And then on to, I guess, Arsenal's title rivals in Man City. Again, Spurs stepping up in the second half after a dreadful first half where Man City could have had hatful, realistically.
Should have.
And Solanke with the wonder scorpion kick. A sickener for Man City, considering all the domination they had. But again, it was a tale of a complete different team come the second half.
Well, I think the game summed up both sides. It showed Spurs being completely Spurs, awful one half and pretty good the second half. Man City, again, those frailties that are deep rooted in their team for the last few seasons, coming to the fore. As we said before, consistency is what wins you the league, and you can't play like they do and have those frailties and be serious title challengers. So they're not out of the title race, obviously, at the moment, but they're showing signs that they're going to falter, where Arsenal were being pretty consistent. Even when Arsenal don't play particularly well, they're still getting results. You don't see that defensive frailties from Arsenal these days. That's their strength, isn't it? Controlling the games. They go to Ellen Road and basically shut Leeds out. And everyone knows how difficult Ellen Road can be. And you go there, completely shut them down, shut the crowd down, and walk away with a tidy 4-0 win. City used to do that back in the day. They haven't done that for a couple of seasons now. You'd think being 2-0 up away to a depleted Spurs side, game done.
Yeah, again, a team of their quality, you'd expect them to see that out. But yeah, certain key players are really starting to show their age. Players like Rodri, who's obviously been world class for years, but he's really starting to move slower and not be able to get around the pitch like he used to. Again, their lineup is very attacking. He doesn't get much support.
Yeah.
On going the other way, and that's how Man City people are getting at them at the moment is getting them on the counter.
Do you think Pep changes too much
with regards to personnel?
Yeah, just this changing of there's only a handful of players that play the majority of minutes under Pep, and he's always about rhythm and form and that. And he tends to go against his own rhetoric sometimes. That he changes the lineup almost week on week. And I mean, we know about Pep. It's a bit of a running joke, isn't it? But I just got thinking maybe he changes too often.
He does seem to rotate a fair amount, even if it's just like wingers. Like wingers seem to be different week in, week out. And you're like, well, how are they going to get any consistency as a unit? But again, who am I to argue? One of the most special managers of all time.
But you look at Arsenal. You look at that back line. If Arsenal that back four are all fit, you can name them week on week. He doesn't. Pep would change the centre halves. Gabriel would get a rest every now and again. Saliba. Pep is renowned for just dropping the odd weird formation or playing someone out of position, and like he gets too clever sometimes, and sometimes that's the undoing of them when you watch them. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making things up, but maybe he's searching for his best 11, best formation, and best formula to get them back on track and firing again, because there's definitely something not quite right.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think in certain positions he probably doesn't feel comfortable. The only players that really start week in, week out is Diaz at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Donnarumma in goal. Bernardo Silva starts most games nowadays because of what he can offer, and obviously Haaland. But other than that, a lot of the players are fairly rotational.
Well, Foden had 19 starts on the bounce, and all of a sudden been dropped. I think that's 4 games now on the spin that he's not started. Pep does that sort of thing. I mean, I don't know what that's about. Foden was firing, went off the boil a little bit towards the end of that spell. Now can't get a game. But who are we to question?
Exactly. Is there any other games you want to discuss before we talk about the potential double game week in 26?
Just to squeeze in a bit of the transfer window. I mean, it was pretty lame, I guess, from most clubs, apart from my club, who spent an absolute fortune on players that I'm sort of left scratching your head over. I've got to thinking that maybe Steve Parish had been abducted, and somebody else was controlling the bank account, because the spending was wild. So we sell our captain and arguably best centre half in the country, Mark A, to City. So we clearly need a centre half. We play a 3 at the back system, so needs 3 centre halves. And we don't buy. We buy Brennan Johnson, who I think will be decent when he gets up to scratch to the system. We signed Gessen from Villa, who by my account isn't a centre half. And then Strone Larsen. Now the Strone Larsen one is it's funny because if it had been last season, I think the price tag and everything would have been justified, or at least closer to justification. The fact that he's completely off the boil, 1 goal this season, and that was a penalty. I know he's in a really poor Wolves side. No Cunha, no link-up man, I guess. But the money, 48 million, the club record. I'm left scratching my head as to how anyone at Palace has seen that. I mean, Matt Hobbs is our chief there from Wolves. He was responsible for getting Strand Larsen to Wolves in the first place.
Right.
Knows him really well. Has clearly said to Steve Parish, this kid has got it. Will score your goals, just give him a run in the team. Yeah, and there's fleeced him, I think, because I can't see any return on that 48 million whatsoever. I mean, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think with everything, it's the January window. It's hard to get any value in the January window. That's why less and less business is getting done year on year, because it's harder to find. You know, you're always paying over the odds in some degree.
Sure.
But yeah, you're right. I don't know whether it's a Premier League tax where because they already play in the Premier League, we're paying a bit more for supposed proven quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, is there any other strikers around there that are gettable for that price tag as well? I don't know of any, and I doubt it. Otherwise, you'd have probably looked somewhere else and probably got a better deal if you bought a striker from one of the other top 5 leagues. Yeah, it's a tough one, and because it's so competitive, I guess you wanted someone that you thought you could rely on that knows the league already. So
I guess so.
It's way over what he's probably worth.
And the Mateta incident as well, trying to offload him. He wants to leave. He fails his medical. I mean, now. Well, I mean, the reports that come out that we've known he's been carrying a knee injury for probably about 3 months. But Glasner in the press conferences has always said that it's not serious, just a niggle. It's sort of come back that it's a reoccurrence of, he had quite a serious knee injury back in 2019, had 6 months off. And it's that same knee, that same issue that's given him the grief. Now, the AC Milan medics have said that he needs an operation on it, which is why they pulled out. Yeah. Now, Mateta obviously wants to play in the World Cup. An operation now will probably put pay to that. So it leaves him in a really hard situation personally. He's got to not only come back to the Palace fans and grovel for wanting out. He's probably injured and if he goes and has surgery, then he won't be heading to the World Cup. And then does that mean he's damaged goods? So we want to sell him in the summer. We were looking at sort of 35 million in this window. What you're talking, if he has a knee problem that's ongoing. Yeah, just a hard situation to swallow it all around. A strange one for Palace, spending all that money. Broke our club record twice in one window. Odd, head scratcher. I guess time will tell on all the signings, but yeah, I can't fathom it.
Gessend fit. Is he just a rotation option, or do you see him starting?
I don't know. That was a weird one. And again, reports come out because we almost signed Gessend in the summer, and Villa nicked the deal at the last second. And apparently, Gessend actually started this. He actually contacted Villa and said, "Look, you're not playing me. Palace wanted me." His guys and got hold of the Palace guys, and that's how it all started. But yeah, you're right. To sign a player in the summer and then offload him in the next window shows what they think of him and what I've seen of him. He's been pretty awful.
Yeah, I agree.
So again, it's a strange one. We signed Brennan Johnson to play the same position. I don't know. Is my answer.
Okay, I guess it'd be a wait and see.
We haven't got that long to wait, unfortunately.
Early times, right?
Yeah,
because the form is not really improving.
No, it's a mess.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Hopefully, Strand Larsen will pay some of that 40 plus million off.
Well, yeah.
Keep you up. So, double game week 26. It's 61st minute in the Arsenal-Chelsea game. Still 0-0. How are you planning for it?
Well, so I wildcarded last week a bit prematurely, but I needed to stop my successive red arrows. I think I had 6 in a row. Woeful run. So I planned it out. I got triple Chelsea to cover their good fixtures from 24 to 28. And I brought in two Arsenal. So I was unsure of the third, just to leave my options open for the 26 double if it happens. So I got Gabriel and Saliba for minutes, probably unshakable, unmovable from that. We'll play every game. I was tempted to go Raya as well and go triple up.
Oof.
The only issue why I didn't was that obviously the 31 Arsenal were blank, and I hate making goalkeeper transfers because I'm also partnering with Jose Sarr, the Wolves keeper, mapping out a bench boost 26, but I'm not sure about that anymore. Looking at the fixtures and that coming up, I might bail on that and do it another time. Yeah, so I've got an option. So if Arsenal go through tonight and double in 26, I got options. So I think on the next slide we got Saka replacements. I quite fancy Madawaki after our chat. I think he's worth a punt.
We can chat about him anyway.
Yeah.
Should we get onto that?
Yeah, go for it.
So again, just for everyone's reference, so I just put some of the top teams based on fixture difficulty for the next 6 game weeks. They are the top 9 there for you, just to give you some thoughts on who to target in the up and coming game weeks for your teams.
Some Strand Larsen goals in that run of fixtures there.
Yeah, maybe against Wolves.
Let's hope.
Poetic. So, Saka replacements. We've picked 4 here, and I'm sure we'll get onto Madueke discussions as well. Do you want to start, Scott?
Well, we covered off Bruno, didn't we? He's almost essential in the game. If you haven't got him, and you have Saka, he would be my number 1 replacement. If for any reason you don't fancy Bruno, maybe you have Cunha or Mbeumo already and don't want the United double up, then Florian Wirtz has come good. All of a sudden it's clicked. We see the player that we know he is. No goals in the first 21, and then it's 5 and 6, is it? Since, looks all the worth the money that they paid for him. And I would go there if you don't fancy Bruno. Liverpool put Newcastle to bed pretty comprehensively the weekend. Ekitike finally coming good once we sold him, as always happens.
Yeah.
But Wirtz is someone I hadn't considered. I mean, I thought about him early doors, like game week 1 when we were putting a team together. But since then, I've not really considered him. Guys that got him in, managers that got him in recently, reap the rewards because he's been on fire. And him and Ekitike and Salah look to be really clicking. So, yeah, I'll be quite tempted with Florian.
Yeah, and obviously only being 13.5% ownership as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a differentiator, so it could make a real difference to your rank.
Yeah.
If he does go off in the coming fixtures, and again, their fixtures are quite nice as well. Yeah. So I tend to agree, but I do think you're right. I think Bruno is probably the first choice if you haven't already got him. And then I guess Arsenal, again, fixtures are looking fairly nice for the next 6. Declan Rice on all set pieces, obviously without Saka as well now.
Mm-hmm.
But he's quite highly owned. But again, there's not many players of his price point contributing to his degree. So again, I think he's a very good option if you haven't, or if you've got more money that you need to stretch around your team, for sure. And especially if you want to potentially prepare for the double game week 26 if Arsenal go through tonight.
Well, the one thing you guarantee with Declan is that he'll start most games. So I assume he'll start the double. His form's been a bit patchy of late. No returns, I think, in 4, maybe 5 games after that sort of purple patch he had. Yeah, I had him briefly, got him in, no returns. Seems to be the kiss of death on players this season. Anyone else from Arsenal, if you're looking from a Saka direct replacement and you go in Arsenal to take advantage of the 26 double, we've talked about Madueke and Rice. Anyone else that you'd be tempted to go for in that midfield?
Well, Zubimendi's been popping up with the odd goal here and there recently. Obviously, Madueke, you'd expect to have that right wing nailed now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nailed for the coming weeks anyway. So he could be a pretty good option at 6.8 mil, again, on the lower end of that budget. But yeah, again, I quite like Trossard, but he doesn't wow me. So I think there's probably other options that are probably better value.
Yeah. I guess Supermendy is probably the most nailed in that midfield for starts.
He is.
Yeah, so in a double game week, you might pick up two lots of DEFCON returns and maybe an assist or something in those fixtures. I guess the way I see it is that those 2 games against Brentford and Wolves scream clean sheets for Arsenal. I can't look beyond maybe a triple Arsenal defence. I've heard lots of talk about triple captain Gabriel in 26 as well, as being a popular, almost banking those 2 clean sheets. And obviously Gabriel is good for a goal every now and again as well. So, yeah. What about the strikers? What about Gyökeres punt?
Again, for me, there's probably better value elsewhere. It's just, you're paying nearly 2 million more than, say, likes of Pedro to get him. And similar form, obviously. He's picked his form up recently. Again, he would be a differentiator for sure. And I would imagine his minutes are fairly solid in the league. But obviously, again, with Kai Havertz returning, Jesus also finding some remnants of form recently. Yep. There's no guarantee. So, yeah, I think personally, there's probably better value elsewhere.
Not tempted to go for a punt. Even if he plays 70 minutes in those 2 games, you're getting a lot more game time than over a single game week player. Yeah.
It's just, I think it's when you spend a lot of money on one particular individual, usually have to have a long-term plan in mind.
Sure.
It's risky spending big on short-term punts.
But a lot of managers, if you haven't wildcarded in 24, would probably be doing it around sort of game week 32. So you're looking for just between now and game week 31, and then your dead end in your team. Obviously, Arsenal won't play in 31 anyway, so it's only for a handful of game weeks anyway. Because I have toyed with the idea of maybe losing Haaland for that time and going for a punty option up until game week 31.
Yeah, I must admit, Salah has recently come back into my thought process. Like you say, Liverpool have started to click from an attacking point of view recently. And he's got 2 and 2 now assist-wise for Salah, and he's definitely looking a little bit more positive on his return. So, like I say, there are plenty of mid-priced forward options that I think per million are a good value versus Haaland.
Maybe next week we'll go a bit more deep dive into a Haalandless idea.
That sounds like a very good idea. Yeah, let's pick that up soon. Anything else you want to mention on Cole Palmer? Obviously, I've mentioned that I think he's a bit risky. Do you have any?
No, I agree. But if you're chasing rank, he's the sort of player that you could get behind for a good Chelsea run of fixtures, and he'll come good for you. Regardless of the price, the value, I think that's what goes out the window. If you're chasing rank, like I am, I've looked at Palmer and I was so tempted to put him in my wild card. He just affected the rest of the team too much in terms of budget, so that's why I didn't go there. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if he comes good in the next 3 games.
Okay, all right. Shall we get onto our game week 24?
Let's do it. The game's still new.
Gets you up first, Scott.
Okay.
A nice game week 24. Green. Nice green arrow. Yeah, moving in the right direction. Again?
Well, like I said, I had 6 reds in a row. I wouldn't ordinarily have gone wild card so early, but I had to. I think I scored 12 more points with this team than I would have my team from previous, so it was worth doing. And obviously, you don't set your wild card up for 1 game; it's for a stretch of games. So I think for the short term, 3 or 4 game weeks, it's going to work. I'm nicely set up with the Chelsea trio. I've got my Arsenal double there with the option to get a third in for their double. The double pivot at the United midfield, I think, will come good. I went Semenyo in the midfield with Rodgers to supplement the 2 United boys and Enzo. And then a bit of a punt on Igor Jesus. Forest had 3 really nice fixtures in a row, starting with Palace at the weekend. He's virtually unknown. I think he's 1.7% owned.
Yeah.
I just fancied him, but for a short 3 or 4 game hit, I like what I look of him. I think he's very lively. It's just that Forest don't really create a huge amount. But I like him. Him and Gibbs White link up very well. I thought there might be returns.
Yeah, again, I like the pick. Goes against the grain. He's an up-and-coming striker in a team that's starting to pick up form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it, especially with the fixtures.
Just had to go punty somewhere because I think my natural instinct is to go with a bit of safety, and he was just a differentiator to try and get some additional points through the back door. Yeah, and I've toyed like you with the Salah idea. Haaland to TK and Rodgers to Salah works perfectly. So that could happen pretty soon. Haaland's way out of form. He's definitely not a million price tag. Yeah, I can see people offloading him pretty quick and that price dropping reasonably soon. Yeah, happy with the team, happy with the start onto game week 25. And then hopefully set up nicely for the double as well in 26.
And then you're thinking of Elliot Anderson to replace Rodgers in the coming week?
Well, so if you want a bench guy for a bench boost, Elliot Anderson is absolutely golden. He's top the last 6 game weeks. He's the top scoring midfielder. But yeah, he hasn't got an assist or a goal in that time. And at the weekend, he scored 7 points, which was made up of appearance points, DEFCONs, and bonus.
Wow.
For a lovely 7-pointer. And that's a regular thing for him. He's the top scorer in DEFCON midfielder by a long, long way. He's averaging like 16 per game. So you can almost guarantee 4 points at least. So if he's on your bench for a bench boost, that's a guaranteed 4 point, and you haven't got to play him if you don't want to.
Yeah, no, I like it.
That was the thinking.
Total sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I like your team, Scott.
Cool.
It's well set up. Do you think 3 players from the double team is 100% necessary?
I think if you want to attack the points it is, providing you've got a plan to deal with them leading up to the 31 blank.
I think that's my only concern really, is because that isn't many game weeks. You've only got to have, an injury or a couple of injuries, and your transfer plans have spanner in the works.
I guess the way I see it, you can put 3 on the bench. So if one of them, say, is a goalkeeper, say you got Raya in there, you can hide him on the bench, doesn't affect anything, and you can have your other 2 Arsenal lads on the bench with still one cover. Yeah, as long as, so I think if Chelsea go through tonight, I think that throws a huge spanner in the works, because I don't think many people have Everton players, and you'd want them, if it's a toss-up between Everton or Wolves players you want for a double, you want to go Everton over Wolves. That then could cause a bit of a stir, but looking, was it 10 minutes to go? Goalless, not much going on by those things.
No, it's pretty drab from what's catching my eye.
So all looking good for Arsenal as it stands.
Yeah. Cool. I think it's.
Have you got Darren's team on here?
Darren's team is save the best to last.
Okay. See, I like your team, and you haven't wildcarded, and you're already there or thereabouts on most wildcard setups. So I think you're probably a good 3 or 4 weeks ahead of the curve, which is showing in your scores of late. So well played, because it's that's the skill of the game, is to do that, to see the trends, to see the the patterns of play and get ahead of it, and you've done that. So
Oh, cheers, mate. It's appreciated. So yeah, obviously Saka's injury, I had him in prep potentially for the potential double game week. And obviously his injuries changed that plan. So again, my gut feel is to move straight to Fernandes, but that would then put me down to 1 Arsenal player for the potential double game week. So it would kind of mean that I may need to use a chip then to take full advantage of the potential double game weeks. What's your thoughts on that?
What would you pick?
Do you think that's a big deal? Because I just have a feeling a free hit team might be better served in double game weeks further down the line.
Yeah, there's going to be bigger blanks and bigger doubles down the line to use a free hit. I think if you haven't wildcarded in 24, then to save it till 32 is definitely the play. So give you maximum flexibility that we can take advantage of the bigger doubles and blanks. Then, yeah, I wouldn't be tempted to use a chip. If you only get to 2 Arsenal for the double, then so be it. I guess you just make sure that they're the correct ones. You got Gabriel already, which everyone's going to have. It might mean you're one player short on the double, which is pretty no big deal. You're in a healthy position already, unless you go brave and take a hit to get that double game week player in. Usually pays itself.
Tempted, yeah, definitely tempted.
But then again, using in 2 transfers just to take one out again for 31, you got to weigh up the pros and cons of that.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty set. Obviously, my original before the Saka injury was to probably just replace Dorgu and more than likely move to a budget Bournemouth defender.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that can probably wait, and I would imagine Fernandes will be the priority. So I think that's the likely transfer at this current stage.
Yeah, I think Fernandes is a must for someone in your position rank wise, because everyone around you will have him in either already or getting him in this week for Saka. So he'd be quite highly owned, and I can see him returning quite consistently. So if you haven't got him, you'd be sort of chasing a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, Saka's only going to miss maybe 2-3 weeks. It's only a minor thing. Just coincides with this double game week, which sort of spins everyone's heads, doesn't it? If it was just single game weeks he was missing, you'd probably stick him on the bench maybe and not worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Cool. Thank you. On to Darren's team.
Yeah, it's a decent week too, didn't he?
Again,
he wildcarded as well. Same with me.
He's very well set up. Very well set up. So again, I think his team's very balanced. He's rolling his transfer, and he's bringing Minter in to replace Evan Nilsson in his starting lineup. Okay. He said he's even tempted to do bench boosts, which again I can't massively argue, but I would imagine there's probably easier weeks with the.
Well, the thing is, when you wildcard and you got a healthy bench, it's quite a good tactic to use it. Then get it out of the way, then you can start taking money off your bench and plowing it back into your starting 11. So it's a good tactic if he deploys it. He again's only got two Arsenal. So if he's going to roll into 26, he'll have 2 transfers for 26. So it gives him the option then of using one of those for another Arsenal. So yeah, he's well set. Looks like he's actually thought about it, planned it out. Very good.
Yeah, I don't have any advice really to give him.
Minte's a weird one. Minte's such a flash in a pan type player, isn't he? He could come and return 20 points in the game, and you don't see him for the next 12 matches. Yeah, he's a very Darren pick.
He is. Maybe he's the new Bruno G, but Darren's going to get right again.
Yeah. Get on board the Minte hype train.
For sure. Okay. Well, I think that's.
So all 3 of us had green arrows last week, which is a rare.
Yeah, very positive.
Good.
So hopefully that helps for everybody looking into game week 25 and beyond. It's still looking very tight in this Arsenal game. So yeah, hope everyone enjoyed. Thanks again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the videos, and we'll see you again for another episode next week. Thanks, Scott.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye.